Hello, Sean Kavanagh here with an Aussie Target training video. In this video we're going to have a look at setting up your tracking for use with your crew. We'll start with the pilot settings first. First thing you need to do is make sure that you're registered with tracking and you'll have a tracking ID set. Next thing you need to do is go into your settings, go to the tracking tab. Your tracking ID will automatically be set. You want to be uploading as pilot. You want to set a security key which you're going to share with your crew, and upload data is on. You can adjust the upload rate as required, but 1 second is pretty good. Say done. Then we then need to go into our tracking extension, and once we jump into the settings here, any other pilots you want to track are up here. You don't need to put any details in here for your crew. Come down to crew tracking, turn crew tracking on, and then you can change the size of the dot that's going to show up on your map for the crew and set the color for the dot as well to anything that you like. So we'll leave that at 10 and we'll leave it blue. Close settings. Now the only other thing you're going to need to do as the pilot so that you can receive your crew data is to either manually update it by hitting draw and it will update the crew position on your map, or you can leave this on full automatic tracking, so just turn it to live. And if you don't want this form on your screen because it's not going to have any useful information about your crew, if you're not tracking other pilots, you just want to look at your crew, simply say hide form. That will keep tracking running in the background. And in a moment, once we set up our crew computer, we'll see that we end up with a dot on our map showing us where the crew are at all times. So let's now go and have a look at the crew computer. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We need to go into our registration. We need to use the same registration or license file that we used for the pilot's computer, and that will give us our tracking subscription, and we're good to go. Jump into your settings here. Go to tracking. You're on the crew computer, so we set it to crew. We make sure we've got a matching security key as set up on the pilot's computer. Upload data on, and here when we're uploading as crew, it only uploads every 10 seconds. You can't change that value. We say done. We then go into our tracking tool here, and as crew we need to put in our pilot data if we want to track the pilot. Okay, so we'll edit this. We'll change this to EX6 to match the pilot. We'll change that to 1, 2, 3, 4 to match me, and I'll put my name in there. Now we don't tick crew because this is the pilot's information, but we want to get the data, we want to draw the data. Track width will be 2. Let's make it 4. We want the pilot's name to appear in the list over here, and track can be blue and the pilot's dot can be blue, foreground white, size is 5. Crew tracking we can turn off, okay, because that's simply for receiving crew tracking, but we are the crew and nothing else needs to change. So we close our settings, we select Sean from the pilots list, and then once we start receiving data from our pilot, that information will show up there. So our pilot's now transmitting data. So in the crew car we can see where our pilot Sean is on the map. We've got the little blue dot, we've got his blue track as he tracks across the map, and we can see his information. So we can see the altitude he's at, heading, speed, the waypoint that he's going to, which is 223, direct distance to go, bearing, ETA, etc, etc. Now if we want to see the goal that the pilot is going to, we can click on the plus sign here and it will put a waypoint, Sean's waypoint, on the map. So that tells me the waypoint that Sean's navigating to. If I can't see that waypoint, I can center the map on the waypoint. Now the map is centered on the goal, and if I want to clear any of that off the map, I can clear that. Likewise, if I can't see where my pilot is, I can center on the pilot and it will recenter the map on the pilot here. So that's the crew side of things. Let's jump over to the pilot computer and see what the pilot sees. Okay, so here we are on the pilot computer, and what the pilot is going to see while he's got live tracking on is a dot for the crew. And we don't get any information, and that dot's only going to update every 10 seconds. But if I go to the crew car and I speed up the drive, doing 45 k's an hour down the road, you'll see that that dot is moving down the road as we drive along. Every 10 seconds or so that will update, and the dot will jump down the road like that to show the new position of the crew. So the only limitation for the pilot side of things is that they don't get any of this information. They don't get the speed, they don't get any other information about the crew, just the last position that they've recorded in terms of where they are on the map. So it really just adds a dot to the map to show you where your crew are, for peace of mind from the pilot's point of view. If you wanted to get any of this data for your crew, it's the same as tracking another balloon. You need a separate tracking license for that computer, and then it will track, whether it's crew or another pilot, it will track all the information about where they're going and all that sort of information. So there we go, that's live tracking for crews. Hope you enjoy it.